A bit longer than the others, but I have a full story to tell which might help someone. A few years ago, my lady got breast. We live in a country with high-level medical facilities, and the doctor told us at the very first meeting that we were here to heal. No reason to think otherwise, but her cancer is genetic. It means if she kept her breasts, her risk of having a new cancer would be very high. So it was clear for both of us. She got a mastectomy. She now has no breasts. She just has two big scars on her chest. For her, she hates her body. She is so scared to wear anything that could reveal her scars. She also gained some weight during the treatment, and she was very pissed at that too. But I love her. I choose to love this woman, and it does not matter if she has lost her breasts, her legs, or her face. I will still love her. I will freaking love those scars until my dying breath, because to me, it means she survived. Story 2. I was always very insecure about my hip dips until my boyfriend told me he loved them. I was standing in front of him one day, and he just said, "I love the way your hips go in a little there. It makes your so cute. It's my favorite." And I was shocked, honestly. I used to spend hours watching videos about how to exercise them away, creams that would fill them in, and other ridiculous horse that would never work. He's somehow found every insecurity I have and has told me how attractive it is before he ever even knew I was insecure. Story 3. I am really into women with weird features, especially noses, like big hooked nose or flat nose with sharp nostrils. Anything outside of the Insta skinny straight nose is super hot by its uniqueness alone. It adds so much beautiful character to a woman's face, and it's really up they're not more appreciated. Story 4. When I was in college, two different girls reacted badly when I tried to compliment them on how pretty their freckles were. They both told me they hated them. I'll never understand it. If you have freckles, you have won the pretty face lottery. I used to cover mine up. One time I was out at the local club and another regular leaned in to talk and then stopped, looked at me strangely, and said, "Wow, look at those freckles. Why the hell would you ever cover them up?" Since I stopped covering them up, I have found a lot of people who really like them. Story 5. Literally everything. I tell my woman that all the time. She's 50, has had 3 children. She's also lost a lot of weight in the last year. She complains about her excess skin on her stomach, but to me, she is the most beautiful person I've ever met, and I tell her that daily. Story 6. That natural no makeup look. The first time I saw my girl with no makeup, I was stunned. At first, I was like, "What happened to your eyebrows?" Because they were much lighter compared to her regular color. I thought she shaved them off. I love that fresh look. Shows off her eyes more, and in the right light, skin can be glowing. Story 7. Not sure if this is off topic, but when women post on Instagram, I think seeing stretch marks, cellulite, peach fuzz, or any type of body mark is super attractive. The realness of it is such a turn-on, opposed to people who clearly put edits on their pictures. Story 8. Definitely smaller breasts. Find them extremely cute, especially naturally proportioned to the chest, and it's nice to actually be able to grasp something properly in your hand. I really hate seeing comments all over women's spaces too about how much it depresses them and they want to get surgery and stuff. Don't blame them at all given how society is, but it sucks for me personally because they never ever believe you. They just think you're lying, which makes them even more insecure. Story 9. The girl I'm talking to right now, with the hope to date and then marry later on, always warns me before we hug that she's a little sweaty, and that she's self-conscious about it. I'm like, "Hun, it's 80 degrees in the PNW. We're all a little sweaty. I'm not saying that I want full-on BO all the time. Hygiene is important. But a little bit here and there makes the heat worthwhile." Story 10. Wait. When my wife and I started dating in 2007, she was 15 and I was 17, she squeezed into a size 0 prom dress. She now wears a 10 to 12, 16 years later. In that time, she's gone through school, carried 4 children, 2 of our own, and she was a surrogate twice, and has put on about 50 pounds since we were teenagers. Now, at age 32 to 33, I find her just as beautiful as I did when we were kids. I just wish she'd believe me when I told her. Story 11. Haven't seen it, so I adore when a plus-size woman's arms match the curve. My fiance is so worried about her arms, but she just has soft, strong arms. She doesn't have any flab. They are perfectly proportioned to her cute and curvaceous body. I always hear girls worried about their arms, but I know y'all chefs in the kitchen, and you've got the best hugs. Story 12. Dark-haired women. I know blondes are usually the default most men like, but for some reason, I find natural dark hair very beautiful and attractive. That, and some chunk in the thighs, waist, and hips. Story 13. Honestly, people are just different flavors for me. Whether you jiggle or you don't, whether you tower over me or I can rest my chin atop your head. No matter what you think about yourself, there is a bunch of people out there super into whatever flavor you happen to be. Story 14. I just got into an argument with her while we were both falling asleep the other night. She said her boobs were just okay. Small, but okay. Not great. For context, she is a smaller A-cup. In my half-asleep state, I got angry. I said they were spectacular. She said no, they weren't. I got obstinately defiant and just said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but you won't be changing mine. They're perfect." She acquiesced, and we fell asleep. I meant every word. They are so perfect. Every inch of her whole body is. I could seriously just stare at her for hours and be in guy bliss. Story 15. Having a dumb, awful, hilarious laugh is unbelievably attractive. It carries so much character with it, so much individuality and uniqueness. I want to hear a honk from the next room and know she just saw something funny. Story 16. The way they move. Not any feature or body part specifically, but the way the whole female body moves. Science has shown that people can differentiate men from women in a second or two at the limit of visibility just by the way they move. So can dogs and horses. So many women that are so insecure about parts of themselves feel forced to guard or hide that part. This makes them unbalanced, as their minds are probably focused on concealment or protection. They say they hate the way they walk, or they are clumsy. They don't walk like those girls in the adverts. Well, from where I'm standing, I saw the motion of a beautiful, graceful female as she stepped, turned, dipped, and posed. I saw energy and vitality, coordination and strength. I saw beauty, and I saw power. I probably saw it from 500 meters away and enjoyed watching every meter as she approached on the path between us. I saw a woman, and my brain made me pay attention. That smile on my face is because I'm old enough to know every woman has insecurities. But I always smile at the way every woman moves, not through desire, but as an act of celebration. Story 17. Gray hair? Love it. Overweight or fat? Who cares? It's about the totality of you, not some singular feature. I have been with the same woman since 1982. She was a thin drop, dead, gorgeous woman. Now she is in her 60s, and time will have its way. When she kisses me, my heart still pounds like it wants to burst out of my chest. I think when you vibe with someone, something magical happens. For me, it has never gone away. Your mirror does not show how you look to someone who connects with you. Story 18. A good size, unique nose. Too many women think they need a dainty little button nose or a straight, tiny nose. They want to look like anime or video game characters for some reason, and that's just boring and bland. Pug noses, Roman noses, bold noses, crooked noses. Variety is nice in people, and believe it or not, your natural nose is somebody's. Don't get a nose job. Don't use that Instagram filter. Be proud of your unique proboscis. Just look at Jennifer Grey. She was unique and beautiful with a bold nose in the 80s. Then she got a nose job to look more like every other headshot in Hollywood, and people lost interest. Her career hit a major roadblock because she was unrecognizable with her new, boring, perfect nose. She was still beautiful, but looked average beautiful instead of unique beautiful. Story 19. I don't know. I love women's bodies. It's hard to pick something, but I had one girlfriend who was short and thick. She was self-conscious about her thighs, but I absolutely loved them. Dated another girl who was skinny, and I loved how her hip bones made a V towards her pelvis, and her bony collarbone, and her elbows. I had an ex who was a soccer player, and she had broad shoulders and could lift more than me. I loved it. I had an ex with dark hair and thick eyebrows. She hated them, but it was one of my favorite features of hers. Ladies, you all have something you hate that we love, especially if you're in love. Like there could be nothing ugly about you. I've given up on finding love, but I will never not appreciate every inch. Story 20. Anything that isn't common. I'm sorry, I don't know how to phrase it, but hear me out. I was immensely, wholeheartedly, deeply, everythingly in love with this girl. She had a minor accident which left a mark on her skin over the cheekbone. Zygomatic bone. She hated it. A lot. But I always loved it. It looked beautiful. She always thought of it as an imperfection. I always thought of it as perfection. Story 21. It's not a thing, but it's the mindset that's wrong for me. The birthmark, mole, the fact that you can hyperextend your elbows. The thing that makes you unique is my thing, and if you let me in enough to show it, that is what is attractive to me. Beauty is one thing, but being secure enough to be vulnerable is another. Story 22. Leg hair and body hair in general. I think it's messed up how women get drilled with the idea that leg hair is unsightly or not feminine or that men hate it. I've had several girlfriends who didn't really shave their legs, and I loved the feeling of running my hands over the thin, wispy hairs most women grow on their legs. A lot of my male friends feel similarly. Also, I think if women rock arm hair, armpit hair, unibrows, even some upper lip hair, etc., and are just comfortable and unapologetic about it, I just find that degree of confidence very sexy and magnetic. But really, if I'm just generally attracted to a woman, which usually is like a style, vibes, shared interest, energy-based thing, I just couldn't imagine being turned off by anything about her body. In fact, if she has some unique feature like a big nose or a snaggletooth or a big birthmark, I think that's cute and endearing. For example, I dated a woman with a pretty sizable port wine stained birthmark on her face, and I just thought it was so beautiful because it was so different, and she was totally confident and comfortable with it. Story 23. I do not know a single guy who actually prefers the Barbie bimbo all bleached and full of plastic over a real natural woman. My wife and I celebrated her first full-length gray hair yesterday. I can't wait to see her hair get salty. It's the next chapter in her beauty. A couple of years ago, she switched to trimming over shaving her hair because she was over the hassle. She was afraid I wouldn't approve. I told her I prefer it. Makes her feel like a woman instead of a girl. Just be yourself. No story goes on forever. I hope you all get to find someone who wants to grow old with you and embraces all the things that come along with that. Story 24. My first real girlfriend had a thing I've only seen in anime. She had one pointy canine that would peek over the top of her bottom lip. It was very hard to notice as you had to be near her face to see it, but it was darling. I feel like I fell in love with how cute it was. I shouldn't have said anything. I told her, and she got super self-conscious and said at first I was lying to make her feel bad. High school was whack, man. Then, when I kept on and brought her real close to a mirror, she flipped out and hated it. She said no one had ever told her about it, and for those 15 years she was alive, she never noticed. I didn't believe her at first, but after reflection, you had to be close, on her right side, to see it. Alexandria, it was truly adorable. Story 25. I love lines on the face. I know women think they need to have smooth skin all over, but I love seeing the character of a person shown on how they express themselves facially. Show me lines on your head from when you frown or you think. Show me crow's feet from when you smile. Show me cheeks and eyes that have known long nights and hard work. I love seeing where you've been in your face. Story 26. I'm not a man, but my wife is blind and super self-conscious about her wandering eyes, nystagmus, because she's been teased and shamed for them in the past. I think they're beautiful and look like they're dancing. Like, you round a corner and accidentally catch a girl dancing by herself because she thinks she's alone. So you hide around the corner as to not interrupt and keep watching because it's so cute. Story 27. I haven't seen anyone mention height on here yet. A lot of tall women are insecure about their height, and a lot of average or shorter guys won't date women who are noticeably taller than them because it makes them feel insecure. But I'm a tall guy, and if I could find a woman taller than me, I'd marry her in a heartbeat. Story 28. Random hairs, stretch marks, blemishes, a bit of belly. They are bodies, and us men, while insecure and having our own issues, tend to get away with much more. A lot of women experience criticism or bullying from their especially early boyfriends because they are dating insecure, controlling people. Those comments have nothing to do with looks. They are a method of control and putting down someone so they don't feel lovable, so they would stay with that person. Because the more you put someone down, the more likely they are not to feel worthy of anything better. It's terrible. And for the rest of us, we should do our best to help heal those scars with acceptance and love and endless kisses on those shame-inducing little insignificant details that are nothing but bodies doing body things. Story 29. I love handles. I love squeezing them, but I understand the insecurity behind this. So many times I am asked to stop, and I do. That and the fat of a woman's underarm. I love putting my arm around my girl and reach around for the underarm and give it a good old squeeze. Yes, I love my plus-size women. Story 30. Several years ago, I was at the top of some stairs leading down a cliff to the ocean in a town. It may have been Carpinteria, California, or somewhere around there. I saw a 35-ish-year-old, fit, tanned brunette woman in tight spandex shorts and a sports top, fully exposed midsection. Her belly had a big scar from navel down, so a major abdominal surgery scar or an old-school long C-section scar. Thick, too. Whatever it was, she didn't hide it, and she walked so confidently. I was in awe. She must have been through hell, but it didn't defeat her. In a similar vein, my wife sometimes has felt self-conscious about her stretch marks and her belly, but I don't see anything bad about them. I see the sacrifices she made for our children and love her more for them. Be unapologetic about scars and stretch marks. Quiet confidence is everything and makes it a non-issue. People who understand will appreciate you. Story 31. A bit late to the party, but here's my opinion. I've been with my wife for nearly 15 years. High school sweethearts and married for 2 years. I know every inch of her intimately. Every little detail. Freckles, dots, moles, scars, stretch marks, you name it. They're my favorite. All those little things she hates about herself, I adore. Her own perceived imperfections are my perfection. I don't know how to explain it any better than this. Ladies, you will find a man one day that doesn't love you in spite of your imperfections. He will love you because of them. Story 32. My girlfriend hates that little bit of belly fat that can only be described as a tummy, but I love it. It looks cute and feels great to rest my hand on and caress. Entirely flat, skinny bellies aren't my thing. The natural look of a little bit of belly is cute as hell. Story 33. Their face with no makeup. And I do mean no makeup, not natural makeup. I know the difference. Seeing that natural complexion with a little bit of dark under the eyes hits me in my soul. It's like I'm really getting to see you instead of the social mask we wear to blend in. And it's beautiful in a profound way that no cosmetic can match. Story 34. Curly-haired girls can often hate their curls and wish for them to be straight, since as a society, we've historically branded curly hair as messy or unruly. I love curls though. They're just as beautiful as straight hair. It is a shame there's just so many hairdressers without a clue of how to work with them. Pale-skinned redheads are often branded as ugly by the media, especially since Hollywood tends to either race-swap redhead characters or cast blondes and brunettes wearing wigs or dyed hair. I have a ginger friend who was in the industry in the 2000s, and she had to do the most elaborate fake tanning process to keep her job. I think Jessica Chastain and Sadie Sink are the only prominent gingers in the industry. Although Liv Hewson is on her way up, and poor Nicola Roberts of Girls Aloud was called ugly and hideous by the press when she was only 17 because of her pale skin and red hair. But all skin tones are beautiful to me. Story 35. The I just woke up look. Every woman I've been with has been baffled that I find her attractive right away in the morning. But I haven't even cleaned up yet. Yeah, that's the point. This is your most relaxed and yourself I'll ever see you. This is extremely intimate and comforting. I love it.